welcome back to the Middlemen. My case, families at war. I was going through my WhatsApp messages early on Wednesday morning when I came across a video of a man allegedly bound hand and foot, allegedly by some fellows, and dumped in his own living room. The narrator of the sordid incident said the man's wife and children allegedly hired some fellows from a certain part of the country to tie their father. Though the matter is currently with the police, I find the entire matter to be concerning. The rate at which family disputes are being settled with violent and disturbing measures has become a source of worry. You find Nigerian women kicking their husbands out of their homes abroad. These things boil down to selfishness, greed, and lack of trust. What will make a wife and her children to get their father tied in his own home? The narrator said the man received his retirement benefits and opened 3 shops for his wife. He also bought a car for himself, but later sold it. So how did things fall apart? My verdict: the family unit must not be allowed to die. The family is the basic unit of socialization. These children, I presume, are adults. What were they expecting from their father, who had retired recently? To give them the moon on a platter? Why not prejudging any of them? But the act of getting their father bound by strangers stands condemned. It's unfortunate and should not be treated lightly. Women who incite their children against their fathers should turn away from such ignoble actions. Also, fathers should do well to carry their wives and children along in decisions affecting their families. I so rule.
It is bad behavior for you to have your children, taking such kind of action. I've seen where children beat their parents. I've seen it, 2 factors. It's either they are not well raised by the same parents, or they have cultivated that outside the purview of their domestic confines. So it's not uncommon in our society, especially when some children believe that they are of the new age and they want to school all of us into oblivion to let us know that there's a new dispensation, and that dispensation is to disrespect everyone, and not to have regard for anyone. A lot of children are like that. Just because the man has earned money more than usual. This is supposed to be a retirement benefit. Retirement benefit should be what should be applied through family planning and family cooperation so that they can get the best out of it. Now, a man that has opened shops for the wife definitely is creating avenues to sustain family relations, to sustain family business, and to grow the family. That is, for me, foresight. So for the children to now,
tie up
their father, what it means is that they actually kidnapped their father. Okay, they may have asked for ransom. We don't know that in the story. But it is criminal for children to do that to their parents, and this should not be condoned at all in society.
Okay, so 2 of you have said that they should not condone it, right? And I must agree that violence does not solve anything. Every dispute, every war ends up on a negotiating table. Why don't we start by negotiating first rather than resort to violence, right? But again, aside from our African culture, some parents need to be beaten well. Because you were born before me does not mean that you are the authority on everything.
No, hold on. I think parents should be corrected when they go astray. Not
they need to be beaten.
No, you are encouraging. This show does not encourage violence.
Okay, beaten by government.
Some people
by government, Abi.
Some people are watching us, so we will not say
by government.
Culturally.
No, like they can be reprimanded and they can be.
Yes, I think some people need to be flogged. We have traditional ways of beating people into correcting their brains.
When we start to beat our parents, that means we have lost it too.
I was listening to that pastor for me.
Whichever way.
Mommy that speaks to women. She says, however parents are, children should love them.
Yes,
that's what she says. However parents
she's correct.
children should love them.
Does it go the other way too?
It's not a tit for tat thing. Somebody
not an eye for an eye.
So you love them. You hold on. You culturally and respectfully find how to coexist peacefully.
Excuse me.
With the parents.
Why?
Why not?
No, why not? You see, you have insight. You are better off in terms of information. So you should be able to manage the circumstances as against
just manage them.
No, yeah.
Are parents supposed to also love their children regardless of what the children? Because the children didn't ask.
Yes.
No, it's not true.
They should.
They always
Look,
do.
I saw a video last week of a woman complaining about her neighbor who constantly beats the child. Maybe the neighbor is taking out the frustration of what's happening in the economy on the child, or they were raised like that and believe that if a child wants something and is crying, you must beat them. You know. Anyway, I think that family, leadership, relationship are things that we learn by fiat over here. We learn by practicing. It is trial by error. How many parents actually go to school of parenting? How many parents? A lot of parents will say this was how I was raised.
Even in the school of
parenting, and I did not die.
Even in the school of parenting, the teachers there are wrong. So life does not have formula.
So there's no perfect parenting
at all.
You see, the faults of children are the failings of their parents.
Correct.
Look, a lot of times I might be very rude, free talking, insultive, and I have seen a man is driving children of 10-year-old, 15-year-old in the car and insulting co-road users. The children already are growing to see these things as normal. In the army cantonment where I grew up, in one of them, my father was severally posted. Your father in Hausa means Ubanka. Your father. And my parent had sent me to pass a message to a couple. The man was sitting with his wife, and the son came out of the house with just licking his plate. I'm sure the brother chased him out. I know that. And the father was telling him, get inside. And the mother was telling the boy, she was sitting beside the boy, and telling the boy, Ubanka. That is.
And the father was
your
there.
father, yes. There are various languages in Nigeria. I don't want to go far. A sibling will tell the fellow sibling, yeah, and the mother is there.
Yeah, just like your thought resonated with this movie I saw the other time, Gladiator, where Maximus happens to be the general of the army.
You are right. I was looking from there.
Yes, Marcus Aurelius, who had led Rome for 14 years without war, wanted to hand over to the general, not his son, Commodus. Okay, so when the son discovered the plot, the son went to him and was crying. You understand? And even the general went to him and told him, why would you want to hand over to me as a general? Why you have a son that is capable? He now told Maximus that my son is not a moral man.
Ewo.
I held Rome for 14 years without war. It has never happened before. Okay. Then he now said that he looked at his son and he said, your fault as a child is my failure as a father.
Yes.
You understand? So that means the responsibility of a child must be held properly, must be held in ways that you're able to represent what you should be as a child. Then your father should be able to discharge his own responsibility also as a father. But when you have failed as a child, your failure as a child can also result to the failure of a father because he's disappointed and he doesn't want to keep roaming in a diatribe.
We do not know the story of this father, right? But the family has gone rogue on him. Either it's his own failure of not raising the children well, or the greed of his wife, who he just opened 3 shops for, or whatever it is that went wrong in this family. I'm just saying that there are many dysfunctional families across the world, right? We won't make it seem like it's only Nigeria, but we are doing the much that we know. A lot of us are parenting by trial and error the way we were raised. We were flogged. Is that the right way to raise a child?
The first error, I'll tell you, I might not be universally accurate. Parents, let me say my parents, never argued with their parents excessively. Then I couldn't now argue with my father much. And I have a child of 10, 14, I say, bring me water. The child is telling me, must I bring you water every day? Yes. And it was unthinkable of me
An internet child.
to try that with my father. Now the child is telling me, and I'm condoning, I'm saying, oh, is that this how they had it? So in the dosage of condoning, the lapses shift, and then the child finds himself in a space of a vast latitude of expression.
Do you know
a wife, a mother can mislead, let me say a mother can mislead me to join in roguing my father, and I can refuse. Because I've been in the maximum sense, I've been sired. There's a word in English called S-I-R-E. To breed, to win a human being. I've been well raised. I won't join my mother or anybody in such a primitive conspiracy.
So Juro Evans mentioned something that in parenting, even the teachers in the school of parenting themselves may not even be right.
Yeah.
Because we have been raised to think that what the new generation are saying is unthinkable. We couldn't do it to our parents, they couldn't do it to theirs, right? We think it's unthinkable. But imagine people who were raised in societies where they could tell their parents to shut up. If their own children now say,
there's no
you are
such
crazy.
Society. Whoever is doing that within the space of anomalies.
Yeah, so there's no such society.
Okay, I will not argue it.
It's an imaginary society.
Where it is condoned, then that family is already on the derail. Yes.
And such society is already condemned.
Yes, Jackie Chan said he regrets raising his child in the US. Just like the movie Gladiator. This one man is a real life. He said his son is not his heir. That the toil and risk he took to get wealthy, his son does not do. And that he has locked his child and flogged him thoroughly. Just that the American law will say that is abuse. That he wished he stayed back and raised that boy and taught him the Chinese way.
A lot of us have been abused and we think it's normal. That's my final word.
That's another line. But you see, true. What is good across generations is permanent.
That's true. A lot of us have been abused.
Okay, that's it. It's so far so good. When we return, the Juro from Rabbi will be addressing systemic failures in Nigeria's justice sector. Stay with us.